Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray. Thank you for watching. Today we're talking about Rick and Morty, Season 7, Episode 6, and kind of just a classic adventure Rick and Morty episode. You know, not a whole lot going on. It was essentially a giant clip show. We start off with Rick being hammered on the ground because, you know, he just defeated his mortal enemy, and now he doesn't know what to do. And Morty breaks out the cards. He was like, wait a minute, I thought we stopped using them. He has all these cards that are stamped, and I guess Morty's the one that's been keeping track of them and stamping them and classifying what's an adventure. So Rick calls up this all-seeing person. So basically it's an observer, and they observe everything that's going on in the universe. Let's go ahead and skip past the intro here. So this is that standard question. One of us always lie. One of us always tells the truth. And Rick beats it by saying, did you sleep with his wife? And he's like, oh, yes. And then they got in a fight. And he was like, oh, I want to see what's going on here. So that counts as an adventure. Morty going to get Rick a sandwich. He's counting as an adventure. We have a terrifying one where clothes wear people. So that was kind of interesting. And then we have a, I think this is like a Matrix style one, I want to say, as well, except it's like with vampires or something. Maybe it's like a Van Helsing kind of Matrix style thing. They look very Matrixy to me. I have not ever actually watched the Matrix movie, so I don't have a reference. But this guy is just taking forever to describe this weapon, and then going out, and then they threw a 9/11 joke in there. We have Rick as a leg. He's like, "I'm a leg, Rick." Then Morty just shuts the door, and he's like, "Yeah, no, we're not doing that." We have Morty getting bullied, turning into a sailboat. We saw him turn into a car before, so I think that's a reference to that episode where these two bullies end up on an island. The one bully ends up dying. And then Morty's like, oh, Rick just shows up after like weeks of them being deserted on an island. He's like, oh, there you are. Come on, let's go. And they just leave the bully there to die. So, yeah, there's that. He was like, okay, he's just steamrolling because he thinks he's hosting a clip show. What this is basically, he was like, I'll give you 70 cents on the dollar for the cards. And then because they observe everything, he observes what's happening there. They're like, all right, yeah, sorry, we'll give you money. Just leave. So Rick gives him money. We then see he's outside. You know, Morty ends up licking the inside of an ape. Let's see, there's a whole bunch of clips that he is just going for. The observation dude. Beth has a problem with alcoholism, hiding wine in the toilet. Rick throws a diamond away. Jerry goes to get it, ends up peeing acid. And Jerry seems to be the only one that's like, yeah, I don't really care. He's the only one that seems to be fairly confident. There's a hottie snatcher thing, where if you're not a 7 or higher, then you don't get snatched, and Summer finds out that she is not a hottie. So sad. Poor Summer. And then we have Morty beating him up. He was like, I'm going to mess you up. And he was like, oh my god, I thought he was immortal. I didn't realize I could actually do anything. Ends up getting hit by a car and dies. At which point they get put on trial. And they even referenced when it happened, when they got put on trial for giants as well. They ended up playing that clip. And he was like, oh, if you're referencing that they got off and they shouldn't have, and that they repeat their mistakes, then I agree. Then we go into a clip where, I think I was looking at my phone, I'll be honest with you, the first time I was watching this part. And it's just a combination of Rick giving Morty different guns, and then Morty being stupid and not understanding what Rick means with the guns. So he thought it would turn people into a gorilla initially. So he shot a bully, and it severely injured him. Didn't actually kill him because it kills gorillas. You know, humans share a bunch of monkey DNA, very similar, so it makes sense that it wouldn't kill him and just harm him. The next one is a bully gun, where Morty thinks that it turns him into a bigger bully than the bully, but no, it kills bullies. And then the next one is like, this is a regular gun. It makes bad people go away. So he uses it while he's on a date with Jessica. Apparently he's going out with Jessica still. And it released Jeffrey Dahmer. So yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer he's a real life serial killer, or he was, because he got killed in prison. And they did a recent Netflix documentary on him. Maybe that's probably why that's in here. He was probably thinking about that when he recorded it. And he ate people. That's really all you need to know about that. Then we have a pet cemetery, kind of a Halloween reference there, where we bring Ben Franklin back to life. They push an old Volkswagen Beetle in there. Morty buries his phone. They bury half of Kangaroo. Apparently, they figured out how to time it. They wrapped Ben Franklin's dead body in aluminum foil to see if it would keep out the evil. And apparently, it roasted him like a pig. And Rick was trying to eat dead Ben Franklin. So Rick clearly does not care about cannibalism, which we saw in the prior spaghetti episode in retrospect. But we know, not going to question it anymore. Then we have Morty, for whatever reason, bringing a churro to life. Don't know why. They look like they're having a good time. And then he's like, I can't turn him back. He's basically an immortal being. So churros don't, they don't have internal organs. They don't have a brain. So he basically had to make them a churro immortal. Morty gets bored of him, and they just leave him on a planet. Like, this looks like Mars, maybe. They just throw a bunch of churros on Mars. Who knows? But he was like, I'm going to get you back at you. So we're probably going to see the little churro guy come back at some point. They might bring him back. They might not. Who knows? We have, let's see here. Hold on to my, that was mid. Let's see here. Then we have Rick, that's right. Rick breaks out a remote, hacks into their technology with his third arm, and then starts showing them clips of them not being any better. So basically, it is a person observing somebody drowned, not saving him, and then there's someone observing the person observing somebody drowned. Kind of messed up there as well. He was like, oh, you never take advantage of that. Never whatsoever. And then this guy's like, oh, I'll give you $20, whoever wins fighting. He was like, oh, yep. And then he's like, oh, this guy had sex with this other guy's wife as well. And then they all start beating the crap out of each other. And it is just interesting. So he was like, yeah, we're going to count this as an adventure. Morty says. And then, we end up, yeah, we're back. Backity back, yup. So the punch cards are still a thing at the end of this episode, I believe. I think he was like, yeah, give me so many cents on the dollar for the punch cards. Agreed to it. So that they're kind of a thing. The churro falls out of Morty's locker. I think it's Brad. I would say it's Brad is the one that eats it. But the churro soon is now after Morty. So the immortal churro, goodbye, Churry, is, there's probably your thumbnail as well, is after Morty. So this was just kind of a general clip show type spiel, typical just adventure episode, but the churro thing, I guess that could be kind of canon, and then, we're kind of getting away from the punch cards, which I guess they could theoretically bring them back whenever they feel like it anyway, but, they're just going to go on, classic Rick and Morty adventures, and there's 4 episodes left at this point, and I think that's probably going to be the rest of the season. I do not expect to see Evil Morty come back this season. Season 5 was probably the highlight of the entire season. That's going to be your best episode. That's going to be your canon episode, storyline episode, and I do not see them bringing back Evil Morty for the rest of this season. I don't think it's going to happen. They might show him in like a clip or something in the outro, episode 10. But rating-wise, let's give it a 7. 7 out of 10. It's definitely not the worst Rick and Morty episode, but it is not the best by any means either. It is a little rough around the edges, just kind of random, stupid, funny things in there. It's kind of one of those episodes where, like, don't think about it, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. That's the best way I would describe this episode. The only thing that might be canonical is if Churry comes back and, like, beats up Morty or something, or leaves him stranded on a planet. I can see that happening in the future as well. But decent episode overall. Looking forward to the rest of the season. And if the next 4 episodes are like this, I really wouldn't complain too much. Because it is. It ain't the best. It ain't the worst. Somewhere in the middle. But it's not something that's unbearable to watch. It's definitely parts of it are more enjoyable than others. But at the same time, it's it's like, you can take it or leave it. Like, you can definitely skip this episode, and you're not going to miss a whole lot at the same time, too. So, that's where we're going to end it. Thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Leave a like, comment, share, all that fun stuff. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for Thursday when I do another Jujutsu Kaisen review. I don't think Thanksgiving in the U.S. affects that whatsoever. In a worst-case scenario, things may get shifted like a day. So, you know, worst-case scenario, Jujutsu Kaisen Friday, Dr. Stone Saturday, Spy Family Sunday. I'm going to try not to do that. I'm going to try to just get it done on Thanksgiving. I mean, obviously, Thanksgiving. I have plans, like many of the people in the U.S. do, on that day. But it's not something that's going to take up my entire day. So, at the very least, I can do it maybe later in the day, or depending on when it drops, early in the morning or something. I know Dr. Stone actually gets released first, so I might do a reversal. So depending on when the episode comes out, if I have time to get Dr. Stone out, I might do that review first and then swap Jujutsu Kaisen to Friday. So just keep that in mind if you are watching those reviews too. Other than that, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.